So we are still in Unit 6. We are doing the last section today, which is talking about proofs, and you're going to do a little bit of practice afterwards, but there are just 2 proofs today. Your homework will be the review packet, the practice test. We'll do some review activities tomorrow, and then you'll have your test down here the following day. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to prove here is given QRST is a square and M is the midpoint of RS, we want to prove that QRM, this side triangle, is congruent to TSM, this side triangle over here. So what I want you to do is go ahead and pause this. If you get stuck, press play and I will give you a couple hints, and then you can pause it again, see if you can get the rest of it, and I'll give you the answer after that. So go ahead and give it a try now. All right, so the first hint I'm going to give you is that you're being asked to prove 2 triangles are congruent here. So what you need to do is figure out what are the 5 ways that you can prove 2 triangles are congruent. They are angle, side, angle, side, angle, angle, side, 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 and hypotenuse, leg. So one of those 5 ways has to be used to prove that congruent. To give you a little more help, I did this in 5 steps, and here are the reasons I came up with for proving this congruent. So pause it again, see if you can get the rest of it. All right, so the statements to go along with those reasons are as follows. So we're given this square here, and we know that M is the midpoint. So that means that RM is congruent to SM by definition of a midpoint. We then know that RQ is congruent to ST over here because they're sides of a square, and in a square all sides are congruent. We also know angle R is congruent to angle S because in a square all angles are congruent, and that gives us side, angle, side for the 2 triangles to be congruent. This next one is saying that QS bisects PR and that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. And we want to prove that PQRS is a parallelogram. So again, pause this and give it a try. When you unpause it, I'm going to give you a couple hints, and then you can move on from there if you need to. So looking at this, we're trying to prove a parallelogram. So you can prove that opposite sides are parallel. You can prove that opposite sides are congruent. You can prove that the diagonals bisect each other, or you can prove that one pair of opposite sides are both congruent and parallel. So here are the statements that I came up for this. It took me 7 steps. So here are the statements. See if you can come up with the reasons for each of those. Go ahead and pause now. All right, so the reasons to go with the statements are here. So you have the givens. You have QR is parallel to PS because you're given that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. So if alternate interior angles are congruent, then this top line has to be congruent to the bottom line. I have QTR congruent to STP by vertical angles. And then I have PT congruent to RT because it's the definition of a bisector. If QS bisects PR, then this half has to be congruent to this half. And that makes this bottom triangle here congruent to this top triangle by angle, side, angle. So if you have the bottom triangle congruent to the top triangle, that means that the side PS is congruent to the top side QR by corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So since we've proven that PS and QR are parallel and they are congruent, we know that PQRS is a parallelogram because if a quadrilateral has one pair of opposite sides parallel and congruent, then it is a parallelogram. So what you're going to work on now is the next couple of problems in your notes. Hopefully you will have a little bit of an easier time with the proofs for the homework, and I hope you have a great day.